I think this really grew out of Newcastle. The fact that there was not the funds to redo something, that we had to work with the buildings that we have. The drivers for a project such as this, and with any adaptive reuse, is the client's brief. We had to look at the staffing levels, how to introduce bars, how to do all those sorts of back-of-house elements to make the theatre start paying some of its own way back. The amount of technology in here, the introduction of particular air conditioning systems, the detail that we had to go into the lighting systems just to recreate the atmosphere of the theatre. After it reopened in '93, a lot of people were coming back in here saying, this is exactly how I remembered it. All the areas around the side, the entrance and all that, were all totally new. But we were able to capture the essence of what they thought the theatre was to them back in the 30s and 40s and so on. That's where adaptive reuse becomes successful. The Civic Theatre proved that we could use fairly cheap, ordinary air conditioning systems that were readily available locally and run a plenum system and have a payback period within a very short time. That approach we took into Joan Sutherland. We'd won a competition to introduce a music school to the Joan Sutherland Centre. The basic premise of our competition win was understanding how a theatre works. We turned the theatre over. A very simple little approach, but actually changed the whole function of the theatre itself. The distinctive achievement of the City Quarter was the development of the loggia. That then developed into what I think is probably the finest of the apartments, which was Altro, where we developed the louver space and the loggia on a two-bedroom apartment into an L shape. And in this case, the final design had not only the living space opening out onto the loggia, but the kitchen also opened out so that you could open all the doors up and feel as though you were cooking in an open space. The conversation starting with the client at the beginning of a project is the key to the success of a project. Our success is built upon achieving those bottom lines, those cost controls, and also applying across to the running costs. That, with the client brief, understanding that from day one, are key drivers in what we do and our success. The basis of our initial work was in collaboration. I've always worked in close collaboration with all team members, and that applies also to contractors. Contractors are really a key essence in achieving the final outcome of the building. I learnt that lesson very early. I was a very green young architect. I had the opportunity to design a Commonwealth Bank, and it was being constructed. The foreman could see that I was still at university, still green, and he said to me, "Ed, you've got these great design ideas. Work with me, together we will achieve your design ideas. I will be able to build the thing." That sort of collaboration approach, that's the basis of where I see DWP Suitors has a huge advantage, and that is totally transportable to all parts of the world.